All right, man. Mighty Mouse UFL on the YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, man. We on here on this Prison Talk channel, man, doing another Prison Talk today. I'm going to introduce you to a guy. Well, I'm going to let him introduce himself, to a guy that's got kind of a similar background. It's kind of a similar story that I have, man. And as far as well, I'm gonna let him introduce himself first. We'll get into that, man. Go ahead, take it away, man. You tell him who you are and what you went through and where you're at right now today and stuff like that, man. Give him a little description of yourself.
My name is Billy. I'm from Bakersfield, California. Been through some stuff in life. We're gonna get into that. Hopefully, y'all like and understand. And this ain't no preaching mentor. This is just saying that, excuse me, we all have a past and we can all change and overcome and be greater than what the title that was put on us. So you understand that stars can't shine without darkness. So we got to go through something to get to something, first and foremost. And it's what you do with today, about living in the now. You know what I mean? Because it's not about the past. It's not about the future. It is, don't discredit what I'm saying or take away or add or alter. It's about living in the now, because what we teach our children today is going to influence tomorrow's world. What we teach and learn today is going to influence tomorrow's world. It's a human nature. We adapt and we overcome. I'm 31 years old. I did time in Mississippi Department of Corrections. I've been to Mississippi State Prison, from Parchman to several different facilities. I have like 7, 8 facilities underneath my belt. I have almost 10 years underneath my belt, but that's not the important part. I mean, we can go into detail, which I probably wouldn't do that because it's not comfortable for me to say, nor do I speak, real G's move in silence anyway. So, just dealing with, from bringing contraband into facilities to helping people secure their packs. I'm talking about 15,000 Black & Milds, 500 pounds, 10 pounds of gas, 2 and 3 pounds of ice, crystal methamphetamines, 1,000 cell phones. I mean, just being stored in the attic and everything like that, from paying the lieutenant $7,000 at the gate to drive a truck straight up to the compound to where we was at. I mean, there's things that could be talked about, that would be bragging or boasting on living that lifestyle, but ain't nothing cool about that lifestyle, because ultimately at the end of the day, them guys are looking for a way and a reason to get out of prison. So every night, before they lay down, don't think a grown man don't cry, because them pillar cases, when they send laundry out Tuesdays and Fridays or Wednesdays and Saturdays, however the laundry system works, man, that grown man's his pillowcase is filled with tears. So because we miss family, you know what I mean? It's a human nature, but what is family nowadays? So I don't even know where to start, man.
Well, I'll ask you some questions, man. Me and you just talked a little bit before we came on record, and you guys know me from wrestling and stuff like that, and of course the fighting thing. But man, before all the fighting, man, I wrestled all through school. I wrestled since I was in 2nd grade. I wrestled since I was 7. Won states in high school, won Southeast regionals, was on the national team for freestyle and Greco-Roman, won the Georgia State Games 2 years in a row. Like I've done pretty good in the wrestling world, enough to land me a few major scholarships. 2 of the best scholarships I had was to Wake Forest and George Mason. So I did have full rides for wrestling, full rides, not partials, none of that shit. And I had a lot of other schools for full rides, but those are the 2 big ones we'll talk about. But this guy here, he's been through some of the same stuff, but he did it through football, and throwing away college scholarships, throwing away going to school, throwing away a possible career, maybe in the fucking NFL, who knows, throwing away those things, man, to stay in the streets. So a lot of people, I didn't grow up a fucked up life. We grew up poor, but my dad was in prison. My mom taught us right from wrong. My mom's from Lebanon. My mom, there's no games, there's no playing around in my family. There's none of that shit. In a Middle Eastern family, it's not a fucking game. That being said, I didn't grow up fucked up. I didn't grow up. I never cussed in front of my mom until I was fucking probably in my 30s. You know what I mean? Real shit. Like we didn't grow up like that, man. We were taught right from wrong, and so all these people that think about, well, if you teach your kids right from wrong, they're not going to end up in this situation. If they're doing good in school and they're living such a good life and stuff like that, and you're giving them what they need and all that, then they're not going to live that lifestyle. That's horseshit. There's a lot of people that are living more than a privileged lifestyle that still end up in prison, man. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, man. You can tell them that. We can talk about, you're on the ankle monitor now. We're going to talk about a couple of hurdles and speed bumps that you went through. He's got his monitor on right now. A couple of speed bumps and hurdles that you've went through since you've been home. Like you said, you did 10 years in and out. So, and you're still on probation. Tell them a little bit about your probation and what the stipulations are and how much time you got left and what you got left to do with that. What you out here doing now with your music. Talk about, what kind of station you're getting ready to start a YouTube channel up. Tell them about what you're trying to do with your station and how you're trying to reach people and help people out, man, with what you're doing, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, as far as my parole stipulation and everything goes, I've been violating parole since 2009. Well, actually probation since 2009. So I've been in and out. A lot of the times, and I just want to say this, that a lot of people in life and in the system tend to discredit you or the credibility of your character is what I'm going to say. They use things that we say, they use things that they see, they use things that they hear 9 times out of 10 because false pretense, the misconception of eyes is a mother. So they use things they hear to discredit you as a person. But okay, so the first time I violated probation, that was on me. Okay. I got tired of being in Mississippi. So let me back up a little bit. So my son, he's 8 years old. So my baby mama and I am working 2 jobs. We're doing good. So I thought and everything like this. And I'm going to tell you how drugs alter one's mind, bro, to the extreme. So anyhow, I wasn't using it this time. Like I said, I was working 2 jobs and all this stuff, doing the right thing. I was on probation, reporting twice a month, paying my little in California. I mean, in Mississippi, excuse me, it's $88 a month. California, you don't have to pay nothing because the taxpayers pay everything for you. So
you got to pay. You got to pay to be on probation in Mississippi.
Yeah. You got to pay. Okay, you got to pay. You got to pay $55 a month. But if you're on GPS, when I've been on GPS, as you can see, it's no joke. Ankle monitor, I charge it up, twice a day sometimes. That's an extra $30. So it's and $3 fee. So it's $88 a month altogether in Mississippi.
Do they let you work with that thing?
Okay, listen. From 6 o'clock in the morning, it's almost like house arrest. From 6 o'clock in the morning, I can be out. I can't be out past 10 o'clock. And so I can work, but I'm like grounded. So I can only move within 50 miles of me.
Right. Uh-huh.
And yeah, I can't go outside of my county. Okay. And unless I get it approved through my parole officer, so I have to have a valid reason as to what I'm doing and where I'm going and all this stuff. So anyhow, so it's only 50 miles that I can go and I have to charge it twice a day. Once in the morning and once at night. 9 times out of 10, I don't do it like that because we're all stubborn. Why don't I do it like that? Because it don't go dead. I've been on it for 5 months now, and in the past as well. If we have a malfunction with the device, I'm going to go in and I'm going to trade it in for a new one that does work. So it holds charge for approximately a day and a half. You know what I mean? A day and a half is the longest I've been. Actually, a day is the longest that I've been without charging. So now I'm on 6 months parole. I just had 5 years probation, went to prison, did 17 months on the 5, come home with the 30 for 30, the good time and all that stuff because I'm involved in classes and everything like that. But excuse me. So I'm cutting my time in half. I'm getting the MET time to 10 days a month because on top of your 30 for 30, if you got 5, it cuts it, to 2.5 of the 5. And then you get 10 days a month. So you get 4 months off every year that you do if you're involved in vocational schools, if you got a job in the kitchen and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you that. That's not bad. They stopped all the 30 for 30s and paroles and all that in Virginia. It's 85% is the best you can get in the state of Virginia, man. They fuck you there, man. So if you only get fucking 4 days a month, and that's the best you're gonna get in Virginia. No more 30-30s, none of that shit. You're screwed. Let me ask you this, man. All right, that's a hell of a hurdle, man. I wanted to bring that up before I forgot. That is a big detriment, man, for people coming out of prison to have to pay to be on fucking probation, man. Because, man, dude, a lot of these people that are coming home on probation, first off, the hurdle of getting a job, getting to a job, transportation, paying off your court costs and court fees, eating, taking care of a family. I mean, all those things, man. But the big thing, like transportation and a job, man, for you to be able to have to come out and automatic, how much time do they give you before? What if you haven't got a job? Like, what kind of, is that a violation if you don't pay that, or how does that work?
So, yeah, it is a violation. Okay, and they created this system, and which is designed for us to lose systematically.
Yeah, no doubt. That's definitely the first I've heard of that. That is a hell of a hurdle, man.
No, and it actually is. So this is what they did. They said, well, if taxpayers are going to sit on their butt and all this stuff, we know that the system, once we put them on probation or parole, if they're addicts, revolving in a cycle, we're a product of our environment. So 9 times out of 10, until you're truly changed as a person, bro, you're going to do, because you're going to go around the same people, places, and things. In order to change, you gotta change your environment. You gotta change your lifestyle, your way of thinking. You gotta change your heart, bro. Ultimately, the most important thing. But so like this last time before I violated, so I just got out from doing the 4 years, right, on a violation. Okay, and back up to what I said, the first time was on me. Me and my baby mama got into it. I started using crystal methamphetamines and Vyvanses. I tried to commit suicide. I was airlifted out when I tried to smack my truck on my dad's birthday. Told him, you want to see something cool, old man? Come outside on the front porch. I tried to commit suicide. So I've been to the extremities to where depression and suicidal and anger had always become a major part of my life because of the resentment, because of my childhood and everything that I could just point the finger at and say, you're entitled to the way I changed that. You're entitled to the way I turned out. You're entitled. So I didn't want to accept the blame and become a man. And sometimes I still don't. For me, being responsible for my own actions, because at the end of the day, didn't nobody say, hey, Billy, do this. Hey, Billy, do that. Hey, Billy, do this. No, they might have gave you a little leeway and said, well, hey, I'm gonna let you hang yourself. You know what I mean? So with that, I'm gonna say this, that once I had got out of the hospital, everything was all bad. Me and my baby mama was into it. She was pregnant with my son and all this stuff. So I decided to skip. So I decided to skip. I was on, was I on GPS then? No, I wasn't on GPS then. Excuse me. This is the reasoning why I got put on GPS, and I have to remain on GPS until my 10 years is up, almost 15 now, because I'm about to flatten a 5 too. I done flattened the 10.
Yeah.
So I went absconding. So I left state. I come back out here to my hometown.
I got that same thing. Yep.
Yeah, absconding, but they didn't charge me with it. So I stayed gone from. Let's see, I got out in 13, the middle of 13, and I stayed gone all the way till 15. So 15. And when 15 came here on my grandmother's birthday, I had my baby mama bring my son. I met my son for the first time for my grandma's birthday. I knew that I was fixing to go get a lot of prison time. I didn't know how much I had, or how much they was gonna violate me to, So I come and met my son for the first time. It was really important. We took pictures and all that stuff, on my grandma's birthday, told my grandma I love her and all this stuff. And I went and turned myself in, after being gone for a year or whatever. So on meth, tweaked out on crystal meth and just on the run. And it ain't no life living over your shoulder and, just making false, anything could be detrimental to your character at that time, or your well-being or your family and everything like this. So I can go into depth, but I'm going to save that for my channel. You know what I mean? And get in depth more one-on-one, how you're going to introduce my channel and all this stuff. I am going to start a channel to let you guys know that you're not alone, because at times I feel like I'm still alone. But anyhow, so I violated. They give me the 4 years. So I go, I violate, I do the 4 years, and then I come home. When I come home, I'm on the 5 years probation. But now I'm still on the ankle monitor. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm a flight risk and all this other stuff. So, so let me tell you how they played it on this last, and how the system is a little corrupt. And this is the God's honest truth. You can check my file. You can do anything. You can Google it. You can do whatever it is that you need to do. But my word is all I have. So my word is bond, and that's all I'm not going to break my word or my nuts for no man, period. So, and people get a misconception of what it is that you're trying to be, integrity, and you know how to, but anyhow, so when I come home this time, I meet my wife in prison. So I come home, I get her pregnant, I marry her. I didn't even stay out 6 months. Okay. I'm working. Okay. I get us our own place and all this stuff. Like it's sort of kind of like history repeats itself. It's just waiting for you to do what it is that you're going to do to mess up, you know? Right. So anyhow, she's pregnant with my daughter. The first one, my son's almost 8. My little girl's about to be 2. So pregnant with my daughter and all this stuff. And she runs off, man, on me on Father's Day and gets spun out on crystal meth and all this stuff. So I start dealing with some stuff as a person. Like, you're pregnant with my daughter. Here I am working sometimes 2 jobs. I got us our own place and everything. I pay the bills. I make sure everything's tended to. And you're going to go off and do this. And then you come back and you know, whatever. So you think everything's all right. So then I was like, you know what? Hey, you want to do drugs while you're pregnant with my daughter? This is how real life could be. Like, this is how some people's mind is messed up to the way of thinking, you know, in the past, and leading us up into these situations to be in trouble or anything like that. Yep. So I go get 7 grams of ice, crystal meth. I go get 7 grams of the ice. And I know I'm a fucked up individual for this, but this is the truth, and this is what has to be exposed because it's been living on my conscience, and I have to get this off. Like, okay, so I asked for her forgiveness and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? I asked for my daughter's forgiveness, and ultimately I asked God to forgive me, because that's the most important, because He is our creator. You know? So if He forgives me, then I know ain't nothing underneath me can't be forgiven, because I've had dominion over this earth. You know what I mean? He put me, you know. So anyhow, I was in my feelings, bro. You run off on Father's Day, you give me an STD, you come back like everything's all right. You know what I mean? You get spun out on meth while you're pregnant with my daughter. You got a daughter, so I'm raising 2 stepkids, you know, Gemma and Hazley, which they call me dad and everything. So I'm really caught up in this after doing 4 years in prison. I'm really headstrong about what's going on in front of me. Right. You know, so I get her spun out, her and my dad and all this stuff. So I go get the 7 grams. I'm like, you want to do drugs while you're pregnant with my daughter? You ain't going to leave this table until the 7 grams are up. So we're going line for line. And she's tapping out, bro. She's like, listen, please don't make me do no more. When she says, please don't make me do no more, out of her husband and out of a man, bro, I'm not going to let somebody or make somebody do something that they don't want to do, period. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is my wife. She's pregnant with my kid. First and foremost, my child's safety is more important to me than anything. You know what I mean? And I'm just showing you that this, if that's the lifestyle that you lead, if that's the lifestyle that you want, then we can do that. So anyhow, so we go through that situation. So I start using after that. So she gets clean. I tell her to go back to her mama's, get your shit, get out the house. Excuse my language. Get your stuff, get out the house. Me and you are no longer apart. We're going to raise our kid from a distance and all that stuff. Call me on appointments, doctors and visits and all that stuff. And when you want somebody to be there, I'm gonna be there for you. But ultimately, I can't live with you like that and all this stuff. So on top of my grandmother being sick, you know, I never listened to the signs really, because my grandmother only had like 6 months to live. Excuse me. And my stepmom kept telling me that. She's like, boy, you need to leave them streets alone. Your grandmother ain't even got a year to live, you know, and you need to do the right thing. So that's when I'd go over to her house every now and again. So anyhow, make a long story short, so I started using, so I was still working, but I wasn't working I was working every day, you know, Monday through Friday. That you're off on the weekends, you get the family time and all this other stuff, you know, normality, what normal people do, you know. Right. And well, what is normality nowadays? We don't even know. We put a freaking topic on, you know, we label that so good we don't even know what normal is.
What everybody else decides is normal.
What everybody else decides is normal. Yeah. So I'm on GPS, okay, need I mind you. And so I'm on GPS, and the only work that I could get, you know, at that point in time was construction. You know what I mean? They love a boss hog. They love manual labor. They love a guy that's going to get out there and tote them 2x6s, blueprint, and all this stuff, cut and all that. So anyhow, framing houses, I landed a little gig framing houses. and I was working for Michael Bond Construction. And so the only jobs that he had majority of the time was out of state. But it wasn't like out of state like Texas, Arizona, Florida. It was like 20 minutes out of state. Like when you go through Poplarville, in which that's where I live, Poplarville, Mississippi, little bitty town, fucking population, hometown, you know, everybody knows everybody, buddy system. Eat dinner and send you to prison for 15 years and smile on your face with it while they're doing it. You know, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got Poplarville, then you got Millard, and that's where our county jail is. Then you have McNeil, then you have Carrier, then you have Picayune, then you have Slidell, Louisiana, right after Honey Island Swamp, which it's all connected, bro. As soon as you leave Mississippi, Slidell, Louisiana is right there, and that's the growing city. That's the most growing city outside of New Orleans that's up and coming. So anyhow, I had a job with the framing, and they let me do this for almost 6 months, bro, on going out of state. So they see that I'm going out of state. I'm working. I'm home every night. I'm charging my ankle monitor and all this other stuff. Back up a little bit, and I'm going to show you how they violate me and how the system is corrupt a little bit as to this last time why I went to prison. And to let you know that what you hear or what somebody tells you ain't the truth, bro. This is facts. When I get home, I caught a domestic violence charge. I got into it with my dad and my uncle. Okay, for some reasoning, because we're not even going to get into all that. I got into a physical altercation with my dad and my uncle. Bam. They didn't do anything about the domestic violence then.
Yeah. About
3 months go by. My aunt comes down from Georgia. We get into it. She's cussing around my stepkids and all that stuff. I couldn't stand for it. I told her, get your shit, get out of my house. This ain't never been your house, all this other stuff. This is my mom's house, which is my grandmother, which is my adopted mother, which is the one that raised me, which is my dad's mom.
Yeah.
She feels some type of way. So she leaves. She calls my parole officer. Family will get you first and foremost. We need to understand that before anything. They shot the cross. This is how they pled it. This is how they said when I went to court to violate me on this last time. This is how they said. I cut my ankle monitor off and I go and stay in New Orleans. Okay. I beat my 90-year-old grandma up and catch the domestic violence. They use the domestic violence, what's in front of them, from my dad and my uncle, fabricate it and say I beat up my grandmother, and use from me going out of state in Slidell, actually working, and use it against me and revocate me, bro, and send me upstate, bro, and give me my whole 5 years back. Now, I had already had 6 months and all this other stuff, dealing with all that stuff. I had already had all that stuff. You know, that's what they did this last time. I come from a place where it's a 99.9 conviction rate.
That's higher than Virginia.
And it's the same thing as in Virginia. Now this is the thing is they don't care whether you're guilty or you're innocent. Listen, when I was coming up, I was young, bro. When I was in the system, I was just like you or anybody else who's been in the system. They can relate to this. I was young. So coming up as a kid, you're in there with grown men and you're watching everybody get the least I've seen somebody get 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, 60 years, life plus 50, life plus 35. And this is all day for day. This is 10 years man, 20 years man. They call it mayonnaise where we're from in Mississippi. You're doing mayonnaise time. You're doing mandatory time to where you're not coming out of prison until them 10 years are up.
Yeah.
You're not coming out of prison until them, you know what I mean? I've seen people, bro. I know a dude, shout out to Matthew Rickman. He's got almost 2 life sentences. He done filled the soap in the sock with a lot. He done cut the angle iron off the rack, the bunkie. I got so many prison stories, man. And he was fixing to stab down the police when they come by. But instead he took, I don't know if y'all are familiar, if you've ever been, and you got these Whirly cups. They're clear. They got the black handle. They got the black lid. It's a coffee mug. It's insulated. Yeah. You put soap in it. You melt your soap down. You stack your soap down, and you wet your soap, and you put your soap in there, and you'll pack it down. You wrap it up in socks or whatever it is you're gonna wrap it up in shirts or anything like that. You're breaking off fragments to your face or anything like that. So homeboy caught him slipping. When the CO, the correctional officer, they called him Bucky, he come by the cell. You know, I don't know if y'all are familiar with prison politics or getting into it. If you've ever been in STG, security threat group, is what we call it where we're from. If you're a gangbanger, if you're a known threat to the police or anything around you, they isolate you from anybody else. I've been on security threat groups. I've been, you know, I have RVRs, rule violation reports, and all this other stuff. You know, so they've isolated us and all this other stuff. Well, you can take a string and a toilet paper tissue, and you can fold the toilet paper tissue, the inside, the brown part, up. You can fold it down, put the string inside of your door, and drop it down inside of your door. Well, you can take another piece of paper and shim the locking mechanism that goes in your wall part right here. Yeah. Anybody ever been in prison, you know, when that locking mechanism slides back a little bit, you put that paper in that locking mechanism. You pull that string from the inside, it's sliding it out, and you're popping it. And the next thing you know, when you're ready for action, you're really ready for action. You're not fixing to talk about, no, I'm going to get you when them doors swing, you swing, and all that other shit. Hey, listen, I'm upside your head, and then the next thing you know. So anyhow, we're not going to get into all that. But homeboy got the police slipping. He popped his lock, beat him right there, broke his hip, stomped his face, broke his face and everything. So that's how he ended up. He ended up taking a charge to trial. Armed robbery and home invasion. They shot a dude over $20 and a bottle of wine.
I had a home invasion and an abduction charge, man.
Over $20 and a bottle of wine, bro. Over $20 and a bottle of wine. That's what these guys robbed this man for. Never believe what you're told, bro. If a motherfucker said, hey.
How much time do they give you for home invasions down there where you're from?
It's like 40 years. But they like to plead. Their main thing, if you shoot somebody down here, you'll get a manslaughter, but you won't really get a manslaughter. They do an aggravated assault down here. So if I run up on you and I shoot you, they're going to give me an aggravated assault. Excuse me. But that aggravated assault is mandatory, damn near it. And you're doing what had been back in the day, 85%. Dropped to 50, and then 50 to the 25, and then the 25 to the 15%. So there's different systems and all that stuff. But man, I'm gonna tell you what, it's a buddy system out here. Okay, they have this thing to where they call in the system down here, it's called preponderance evidence, is what they call it. 9 times out of 10, if you ain't got no money, if you wasn't really out here in these streets, which you're going fed if you was really out here in these streets and all this stuff, you know, dealing with state. They have this thing to where they call it preponderance evidence, meaning we don't need no physical evidence to convict you. We just need a witness or a body. 9 times out of 10, if you go to trial, they're going to favor the victim. They're going to give you the maximum sentence imposed on that charge.
So what do you
Half
do?
the time it's mandatory because you done pissed them off. You done cost the taxpayers money, the time and all this stuff when they could have gave you 8 years and you could have had the 20. You could have had the 20. Suspend 12, serve 8, get out in 4.5. Now you wanted to play hardball. You see what I'm saying? Now you wanted to play hardball. Now we're fixing to make an ass out of you because you done did all this shit. So they're fixing to rig the jury and everything, bro. It don't matter. They're gonna go to the extremity, and most people they don't understand that shit's real, bro. This is real life.
Understand. Dog, listen.
This is real life.
I go through it. They don't understand. They have absolutely no idea. And when I say they, it's people that have never been in the system and stuff like that, man. And they see your paperwork or they see something about you. Oh, that's a fact. That's what it is. That's the paperwork. The fucking law says it. But you know what's funny, man? It's these same people that are supposedly against the law. These same people that are out here in the streets breaking this law that they stand by when it's convenient for them. You know what I'm saying? When it's not convenient for them, oh, fuck the law, fuck, they're fucking wrong. Oh, that's some horse shit. But when it's convenient for their goals, oh, they're telling them golden. That paperwork is golden, man. Whatever that shit, they don't give a fuck about any of the background behind. They don't give a fuck, man. And honestly, like you said, man, I don't give a fuck. But you know, at the end of the day, dude, people really don't understand the system, and they don't understand what happens in the system. And I've talked to people from all over the states because I'm part of the community resolution. I do the Returning Citizen magazine in the feds and the state. So I've talked to a system where they have almost 100% success rate, which is the federal system, which is almost 100% a plea bargain court system. If you don't take a plea bargain, when the feds got you, they got you. When the feds have you, they basically have done every piece of homework that they need to convict you. And
Absolutely.
they're not going to charge you. It's not like the state. The state hears something, oh, I'm going to come and give this motherfucker a charge and then let him fight in court. When the feds is different, the feds might sit on your ass for 2 years, 10 years, whatever. And they might already have your entire fucking organization ready to go down. When they come, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have such a big success rate in closing cases, because there's nothing left to fight, from mafia to high-level gang members, millionaires. They don't give a fuck about your money. The federal system does not give a shit about you being a millionaire. Half of them are. The state system is a different story. The more money you got, the less time you're going to do. The less money you got, the more time you're going to do.
The more we're going to go behind chambers, the more we're going to go behind the judges' chambers, and they're going to rearrange a little meeting, and they're all going to schedule it. Your lawyer's going to come get you. The district attorney's going to be there. Trust me, I know. I've been in the. I personally, I went to when they ducked me out and they ducked me away and they sent me to prison the first time. This is what they did, bro. When they revocated me, I was underneath a sentencing judge, Apprentice Harrell.
Right.
They revocated me and revocated me underneath Anthony Monazingo.
Right.
That's illegal. You're supposed to be revocated on your parole or probation by your sentencing judge who sentenced you to that parole or probation.
Right.
In your same county or the jurisdiction that you were sentenced in. They sentenced me underneath a different judge and bring me to a different county, hide me out in their county jail for 3 months before they revocate me. They have 21 days, bro, to revocate you. This was on the first revocation. Sent me out there, set me out to dry, gave me the whole thing back. Everybody's in the courtroom crying and all this other stuff, but there's nothing that you can do because I've been behind the chambers to where, let me tell you what I did while I was in. Okay, so they had this thing called the T180 program. They didn't have this T180 program. Let me tell you a little bit of plus side. We told you the bad side. Eat up 5 minutes of your time, maybe 3 minutes of your time. I'm going to fast forward as to what you can do while you're in prison. I've been to agriculture and horticulture, marriage counseling, understanding the Bible, fatherhood, theologian school, got my GED, everything, because when you're in there, you're leading a lifestyle for so long, but when God calls, you got to go. There ain't no, when it's really his time, it's going to be your time because you're in sync together. So anyhow, I go, I get my GED. God ultimately did this, but I helped do something that they said in our jail because we was a Thunderdome, bro. If you come in A6, A5, anywhere, bro, B1 was locked down. If you come in anywhere and you wasn't plugged, I don't know if I should publicize that. No. Okay. So anyhow, I'm a son of God. Ultimately, that's the most important thing that we need to. So anyhow, God got a hold on me, man. Got into it with this dude. See, nowadays that I'm 31 years old, I'm into measuring myself by myself. Meaning I can't judge you if I see you do something because 9 times out of 10, I did the same exact thing, bro. It says, he who is without sin cast the first stone.
No doubt.
Meaning I can't say, hey, that dude's jaywalking. You better get him. Because 9 times out of 10, I was pushing a flat tire bicycle across the median waiting for cars. So anyhow.
And not just that. Hold on, let me stop you for a second. Okay. But don't forget what you were saying. But not just that, man. When you are consistently wishing bad upon people and you consistently fucking want to see negativity happen to people, man, you know, it's not just pointing a finger at somebody, but if you want to see something detrimental happen to them or their family, and that's on your mind and it's weighing on your heart and that evil is inside of you, you can't expect nothing good ever to come your way. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing good, especially if you're a Christian. If I'm a Christian and I'm out here and I'm wishing for somebody's downfall, if I'm wishing for or if you're a Muslim, I used to box with a lot of Muslims, so I understand the Muslim.
Muslim train me. Excuse me. A Muslim train me.
Yeah, so I understand their culture as well and their religious beliefs as well. So so you can bypass me and be like, well, I'm not a Christian. I'm a Muslim. let's back it up, man. If you're not religious at all, it's called karma, man. It's laws of the universe. Let's call it that. If you don't want to take faith in any type of religion, let's talk about karma. If you wake up every morning with a scowl on your face and you wish dirt and death and just bad shit to happen to people, man, you are not going to have nothing good come out of your way. And like you said, if you're without sin, if you out here living your best life and you're not doing nothing wrong in your life and you've never done nothing wrong in your life, then speak on it. Because I don't know anybody that's walking this earth that's not out here doing something wrong. I ask for forgiveness every day. I'm a Christian, but that don't mean I'm not sinning. That doesn't mean that I'm not out here doing wrong things. You know what I'm saying? We're living in a world that this is the devil's world. You're going to live that way while you're here. Your best bet is to try not to. But if you do, then but I cuss. I still drink here and there. You know what I mean? I do certain things that I know are not right, but I do them. So at the end of the day, I ask for forgiveness for what I do, man, and try to get the strength to stop. But if you're consistently just dogging motherfuckers out every day in your life, and you just wake up in the morning with a scowl on your face, and you just want to see death and destruction come to everybody that you don't like, what is it saying about, man? Pray for your enemies. Don't wish death. Don't wish death on your enemies. Don't wish fucking plagues and sicknesses that come on them and their family and kids and all that other stuff, man. That's not right, man. You know. But go back to what you were saying, though.
Absolutely. So, my first time in prison, it was actually my second time, and this is when I was doing my 3 years. So I did the 4, I did the 3, and all this is 17 months, and all this other. Did the 9 months, 6 months. So we're in there, we're gang banging, and we're extorting people, and this guy come in with a fucked up charge, to be honest with you. And everybody kept pointing the finger saying he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. So as the houseman, as institutional enforcer, anyhow, I'm not going to put my brothers in jeopardy or harm's way. So we're just going to say that. So fast forward on that. I'm not going to ask my brother to do something that I won't do myself. You know what I mean? So I go in the shower, I beat dude up. Bum, 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 bum. I told him to hold the door, hold the tower, and all this other stuff. So I go in there, I beat dude up. Still, like today, we become best friends after this, believe it or not. Like, he winded up getting me the job in 2019. It's crazy how all this stuff works once you truly change your life, your attitude, and your way of thinking. See, I used to have a messed up way of thinking about people and places and things and all this other stuff. So I really just didn't care.
Yeah.
So I beat him up. Bam. After I beat him up, I clean him up. Like, hey, listen, this was being said, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to feed you and all this other stuff. This is what it is. But I want your story man to man, because I can only go. See, right then I acted on impulse, and I went with my first mind off of what folks is telling me.
Yeah.
Off of what I sit back and I observe myself, and it could be true what they're saying just by observing his body language and stuff, how he moved and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyhow, the contents of one character is going to reveal it all, bro. How they act, the way they talk, it's just, No doubt. Anyhow, so I clean him up, cook him a meal and all this other stuff. And his name is Thomas Sones, man. And when he watches this, he's going to respect it, and he's going to be like, hey, man, hey, listen, I thank you, bro. So Thomas Sones, you're a good-ass dude, bro. Thank you for getting me the job and all this other stuff. So anyhow, he winded up beating the charge. They threw it out of court. So that lets you know right there that what people may present to you or what people may say might not always be true.
Yeah.
Right? So anyhow, I felt bad. So then from then on out, I had a change of heart. I was like, really, what am I doing? Because I'm a leader. I'm not a follower, bro. I was always called to be a leader. That's what I'm going to do. If I am who I say I am, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to act on just that, bro. I'm not going to be persuaded into anything, you know what I mean? Because it's not my job to take instruction. It's not my job to be told what to do. It's my job to shed light on situations that's going on around me amongst my fellow brothers and sisters and all this other stuff. So anyhow, make a long story short, is we had like 30-something brothers on the zone. And anyhow, I really got sick and tired of the way they was moving, gambling, staying up all hours of the night, not respecting the guards and stuff like that. When they come in, sportsmanship is part of the laws and all this other stuff. So guards and staff members and all this other stuff. And I'm gonna speak on things that's real because most people can relate to this. When they hear this, they're gonna say, "Hey, well, he didn't bite his tongue. He didn't hold nothing back. He spoke on things that's real." If you are who you say you are, bro, move like that. You see, because a real G's gonna move in silence anyway, bro. 9 times out of 10. And anyhow, make a long story short, I got tired of the way I was living. So I went to my brothers and I was like, "Hey man, listen, I'm about to leave the house which was Kenneth Smith, Kool-Aid," and he winded up dipping out. Make a long story short is he winded up going across the hall, things like that. So we had several brothers in there. So they kept talking about this Christian program that was going to start in the prison. And the guards would always come in and ridicule. By this time I would get up and I was reading my daily bread in the morning and I was exercising, and all this stuff. So fast forward a little bit, and I almost got baptized in prison and all this stuff. And the preacher man would always come sit and speak to me directly. God would always tug at me. So I helped start this T180 program, which was 16 weeks, which is Bible-based courses from 8 to 10 in the morning. You was in class. They gave us a separate zone and all this stuff. From 7 to 9 at night, you was in class. Wednesdays and Sundays was actually church. Hell band with the hammer down. They was coming to preach to you. They was jumping on tables. They was playing the instruments. They was giving us Stonewall's barbecue. They was bringing us donuts and coffee in the morning. It was all this free will extravagant. And to a guy like us, they would treat us. But to guys like us who had been locked up for a couple of years, they was like, "I'm fixing to join this program." So when you do something out of wrong tuition, out of your heart, you don't do it for the right meaning, it's not going to add up. There's a time and a place for everything. You know what I mean? So a lot of guys would come in there because they'd hear down the hallway, "Hey, Billy and them's up there. They're getting Stonewall barbecue. They're getting donuts every morning. They're going up to the cafeteria area. They're playing the instruments. They're up there jamming out, bro. You don't hear them up there? I'm going to that program." So they throw their stuff. They pack up they roll up is what they call it in majority of the prisons. I don't know where else they call it. They roll up. They roll up. They throw all their belongings out in the hallway, and they would demand to be out there. They go to the warden's office. They go put suicide in a turtle suit for 3 days. Whatever it is, observation to say, "Man, I'm fixing to kill myself." Listen, I heard about how they're living. So a lot of guys got kicked out of the program and all that stuff. But I become a facilitator in there because I'm a leader. And so it's 16 weeks, and I went through the program twice. When God had spoke to me, when I had graduated the second time, and I had stood up and I had gave my testimony. Now, if I'm lying, I'm dying, and I'm not going to tell you this. I mean, I have pictures and all this stuff. I was in a newspaper, and front page of the newspaper, front page of the college, PRCC, Pearl River Community College, in front page of the paper and all this stuff, because I helped design this criteria to help get these guys, to give them a little sense of hope when they're facing all this time, when they're facing all these trials. So I gave up. I gave my testimony. Everybody was crying. The warden, the major free world people was there, probably had like 70 inmates and all this other stuff. So I gave up. I gave my testimony. I said what I had to say, and that was that. God told me then and there it was time for me to go home, go get my belongings, check out of the zone, go to isolation, go to solitary confinement so I can be by myself and have one-on-one time with him. I don't know if y'all know about that. When you truly start to get close with God, you got to isolate everything else around you, because at the end of the day, nothing else matters but that divine relationship with you and him. And so I checked out of the zone. I went to B3 in a cell by myself. It wasn't 2 weeks later, bro. I was going to court and I would go home. But God already told me that I was going home. So listen, when I spoke to these guys, I went back to the zone. I brought them drinks and all this other stuff for the couple of guys that didn't attend graduation and all this stuff. I brought them 2-liter drinks. I bought them leftover pizzas, donuts, homemade potato salad, all this stuff that the free world people's bringing us and all this stuff. So I bring it to them. And I'm like, "Hey, man, listen, God's telling me to go. I'm going to B3. I'm going to check out by myself. I want to be by myself for a while. God's telling me it's my time. My mission here is up. I did what I could do." So they're like, man, listen, if you leave, we're leaving. This program ain't gonna last by that. And I'm telling these guys that that's not a way of thinking. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, a person was in there for the wrong, because when you went in front of the judge, oh, guess what? You done got your GED, you done got marriage counseling, anger management. You're doing all this stuff that's on a paper, but your heart truly ain't changed. You see what I'm saying? So it would get time off their sentence. They would get a reduction. They would get rehabilitation and drug programs and all this other stuff. So it really helped them out 9 times out of 10, but they was in there for false intents. So
yeah, they just want that good time, or to have a good time.
They just want their good time or whatever. So I was truly in it to be in it. So they was like, this program's not going to last. So anyhow, I check out. I go to the hole. I'm grinding with God. Me and God's on a one-on-one basis. Not even 2 weeks go by, I'm at the house. Preacher man calls me. His name's Clarence Sheldon. And he goes to Picayune Baptist. And so the man called me and he says, hey, man, listen. And because, I'm checking in, because my thing was, if I could stay straight long enough, 1 year, Mississippi requires you go back into the prison and you're able to talk and greet and preach the word of God, or give your testimony, give your testimony or what else. But you got to be doing the right thing. They got to truly see that you're doing the right thing. So I felt miserably about it. That's when my baby mama with her son and all that stuff. So I was on the right road for a long time, but the system the program didn't hold up and all this other stuff. But, I threw away a scholarship to play ball, man. I have trophies, had trophies. I don't know, because things got stolen from me all over. I have trophies as tall as I am, bro. I got MVP almost every year. Me and Matt Williams, Ledry Gray, Stanley Hart, Pierre Rain, all them boys, man, at Poplarville High School and Poplarville Middle School and all this stuff coming up, man. Listen, we was undefeated. We went Magnolia State Championship, man. I played linebacker. I played running back. I played quarterback. I played just offense and defense, punter, kick returner, wherever you needed me, I was there. I was an all-around athlete. But I'm here to tell you that if you think that you're going to get involved in a wrong lifestyle or drugs or women or whatever it is, robbing and gun and shoot them up, bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang, all this other stuff, man, you're sadly mistaken, because at the end of the day, karma, laws of the universe, if you don't know about that, read Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power. He's going to give you that. You know what I mean? Or Art of Seduction or Mastery or anything like that, if y'all not up to game and really on yourself as a person. But ultimately, I'm just saying, man, you got to go through something to get to something. So this is what we're going to end on. I come out of prison this time. This is the difference between now and every other time. Is I'm getting a little bit nervous. My palms are sweating because I'm telling the truth. That's how you know it. A lot of times before and in the past, I wasn't truly changed as a person, and I didn't have a plan. You got to have a plan, bro. So this time, I missed the birth of my son. I missed the birth of my daughter. Going through a divorce. If you don't believe me, I have the paperwork right here in the drawer. I can show you. It's facts. My grandmother died on me, which was my foster mother, which also is my dad's mom. So you got to truly lose enough in life to say, hey, look, I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of taking them L's, is what society calls it. Man, I'm tired of taking them L's. I done took so many losses, man. I can't afford to do all this other stuff. I come out of prison with a plan this time, and I was changed. So my plan was to get my welding trade. I moved out here to California. I have to be a California citizen for 1 year and 1 day. In order to do that, I haven't been a California citizen, so I'm returning back to Mississippi on top of a bunch of other things because things just didn't work out. This ain't never been my home. I'm not happy out here and all this other stuff. So, in fact, tomorrow I had 48 hours, so I'm transferring my parole back to Mississippi, and I only have like 6 months, and I'm scot-free. It hasn't took off yet. I have business cards. I have mouse keys. I have coffee mugs, shirts, hats, magnets to go on the side of the car. Behind me, pressure washers, all this other stuff to start a mobile detailing, as well as a pressure washing. It's called Honeydew Construction. The slogan is, we can do what your honey can't do. From walking the dogs to, whatever it is that you need done, to J-trim on vinyl siding, to framing houses from setting back 3/4 of an inch to every 2 cent, joists and rafters to metal roof, C-purlins, Z-purlins, open face. So it's about educating yourself. It's about rooting yourself and finding a plan as to what you want to do as a person. So on top of me opening up my construction company, which I've already started in that area, I'm going to give that to my dad, my uncle, and my cousins who's still out there thugging and drugging and all that other stuff. I'm going to oversee that while I go back to PRCC, Pearl River Community College, get my welding trade and hit the road, because I'm so used to being away from home that I'm always going to be away from home. But at the same time, I need something that's going to ground me and root me, because I don't need no room for error, you know? And my children, so that they don't grow up the same way that I did, they're going to need money. They're going to need their college tuition. They're going to make sure that their dad, man, and ultimately being the man is, that's what I was telling Mouse is I've learned, and I'm still learning every day, bro, that a man doesn't do what he wants to do. A man does what he has to do. You know what I mean? It's about sacrifice. It's about commitment. It's about dedication, determination, and discipline. You know what I mean? Where's the love, life, and loyalty in something if you can't even uphold that yourself? How you going to display that image to somebody else? You know, it's just, when you get in depth about life, we can scratch the surface all day long, but until you're truly ready as a person, you know, I'm just going to end on that note, bro. And I do have a channel. I am an artist. I write from R&B, country, rap, you know what I mean? I have 3 songs on my YouTube page right now. We're going to link that in the bio and all that stuff. More one-on-one sessions, just like Mouse does. I know he does the underground.
Give it to him on here also. Go ahead and tell him what it is.
I don't exactly know what it is, because it's just underneath my name, Billy High. You know what I mean? I don't have a link to the bio and all that stuff.
Is that your YouTube channel name?
Yeah, Billy High. Billy High, HIGH. You know what I mean? You can look me up. Yeah, I just got 3 songs on there right now. But I bought my own studio and stuff coming out here. I don't use it because I got caught up in the construction and all that stuff out here, so I haven't really had much time. But from country, man, listen, and I don't go after something that somebody tells me. I don't get ghost written or anything. I write about country, R&B, everything, stuff that I've been through, you know, stuff that I've seen with my own eyes and stuff that somebody can relate to. Real life deal. I don't rap about 26s on the Chevy. Bitch up and she done heavy. Done told she done gave me top already. All this stuff. I don't do all that stuff because that's not me. I don't project that image. You know, I'm not looking for that character, that clout. You know what I mean? I'm just looking for somebody that somebody can relate to, man, and I can help people, because at the end of the day, nobody helped me, bro, besides God, and that's the most important person. You know, so my whole life I've been fighting, but I've been holding on to things. I've been grabbing things that I thought was important, trying to come up this ladder, because I've learned that being at the top, it don't really matter, because what else do you got to accomplish? It's the climb to the top that matters. That's what builds character and perseverance, bro. And that's what builds you as a person, dude, ultimately, you know. So that's what I'm trying to do, and we're in this together, man. And it's taken me a minute because I know Mouse is busy. Finally, I respect you, bro. My hat goes off to you for real for giving me this opportunity. And I've trained a little bit. That's why I tell you I want to train as soon as I'm able to move how I want to move off this ankle monitor. You know what I mean? Where I can travel the states and all that stuff. I was trained by an Army Ranger, you know, a Muslim. D'Angelo Durr is his real name, Booger Durr. He looks like Michael J. White off the martial arts, fights just like him, built just like him and everything. Bulky dude, owns his own gym and everything. But substance abuse has got him back. So I want to get him. He's called to be a youth minister and a guidance counselor. And I just want to get him, man, back on the right track as well. And I want to get people on the right track, man, because I've learned that when you come together in life, you can have more. But if I'm steady going at your neck and you're steady going at mine, we're losing everything, including sight, which is the most important thing around us, bro. We're losing sight of what's really going on, because our war is in our own backyard. It ain't overseas. It ain't all this other stuff, man. We are, and we create our own enemies, bro. We are our own enemies, man. So when you learn to battle within and get yourself right, you know, you got to go through self-examination and withdraw yourself from your brothers that walk disorderly and everything. You got to do a little soul searching as to who you are as a person, and everything else start to line up, bro. Everything else start to line up. But that's it for me, man. That's it for me.
I'm gonna tell you, man, out of all the people that I've done a lot of prison talks that aren't on my station. I got probably about 30 of them on my station or more, but I've done a lot even outside. I'm not going to say that you're the most successful person. Like, I got millionaires on here that have accomplished. I've actually helped a guy become a millionaire with the tractor trailer thing. He owns a couple trucks and stuff now. But I'm going to tell you, you definitely have your shit together. You know what I'm saying? Your focus and especially your views on God, like you have definitely got your shit together. And I hope and I almost guarantee that you're gonna succeed, man. You know, I've said that before, and I've had a lot of guys, especially in the substance abuse world, that still fall back. But I don't see that in you, man. I see that you're really fucking trying to do something, and you're smart as fuck. You probably got one of the best interviews I have. I've been able to sit here and listen to you. Usually, a lot of times, I got to direct a lot of the interviews myself. But man, and I'm not saying that I'm not taking nothing from anybody else's interview because everybody's got their own story. But you definitely got your head on, man, and you definitely got your shit together 100%, man. I think that you're definitely there. And I definitely appreciate you, man. And I will send me your link to your YouTube, and I'm going to put it down in the description of this video. This video won't be out for a couple days because I still got a lot of fucking fights from the Dallas event that I got to post up. So I'm going to put this out probably about 3 or 4 days. I'll have it up. Okay. But I mean, I think that is fucking yeah. You're doing your thing, and I'll bring you back. There's a way that we can do live feeds on here now too. So I'll probably bring you back on one day when I do a live feed, and that way people can ask you questions as well. Me and you will be just like we're at right here, except we're going to see comments going up this section, and they'll be asking you questions and me questions and talking shit and whatever else. You might find somebody to be like, who's that fucking faggot in there? I mean, you never know what people will say.
Wearing the hot pink American Eagle shirt.
You never know what they'll say. You never know what they'll say, man. You know what I'm saying? Right. I get called a bitch at least 100 times a day, so don't take it offensively. Right. You know what I mean? So
it's just fuel to my fire. That's all it is.
That's it, man. But there's gonna be a lot of people you'll be able to reach out to, and it'll probably be a good conversation. I want to start doing the live feeds on here. I like doing the prison talks, but at the end of the day, I want other people to come on here because, I mean, I think thousands and thousands of people come on these live feeds that really want to be able to ask you guys questions, not just hear me fucking talk while I work out. You know what I mean? So I think these will be good live feeds and stuff, man. So, and I found a way to do it. So I think I'm going to start doing those. Well, I didn't find it, Lisa did. So we'll figure it out, man, and make it happen, man. Okay. But I definitely appreciate you, man. And I'm definitely I'll send you a link to the video and shit, and keep in touch with me too, man. And we'll definitely fucking link up. I gotta go back down to Texas again this weekend for fights. I don't ever take a break, man. But I appreciate you, man. You guys go subscribe to my man's station, Billy High. Go check his channel out. We're gonna start promoting this shit. He'll start putting out more content on his channel and stuff, man. And definitely subscribe to the station, man. Mighty Mouse UFL on the YouTube, and I'm gonna keep Underground Fight League, whichever. And we're gonna keep on pushing out these contents for this prison talk because I'm sure that it reaches a lot of people, man. All right, brother. I appreciate you, homie.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. God bless. God bless, bro.
God bless you.